Okay, question 14. An Air Force pilot is flying at a cruising altitude of 9,000 feet and is forced to eject from her aircraft. The function h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 128t plus 9,000 models the height in feet of the pilot above the ground, where time is t in seconds after she ejected from the aircraft. Determine and state the vertex of h of t. Explain what the second coordinate of the vertex represents in context of the problem. So, first thing I want to do is go to my graphing calculator, replace those t's with x's, and graph this function. So, home screen, new doc, say no, and add a graph page. Now, remember, we've got to replace every variable t with x. So we have negative 16x squared plus 128x plus 9,000. And enter. Now, I don't see the graph, but if you look, our y-axis only goes up to less than 7, and this thing goes up to 9,000 feet. So menu, Windows zoom, and A to zoom fit. This is what our graph actually looks like. The only thing I care about is the max, the top of the graph. So our command, make sure it's written on your paper so you don't forget what to do, is menu, choice 6 for analyze graph, choice 3 for maximum. So the first thing we do, somewhere over here on the left, we find a lower bound. I press enter exactly 1 time. Now I drag past the highest point on the graph, and I press enter a second time, and that tells me my maximum, the vertex in this case, is 4,9256. So now we're asked to explain what the second coordinate of the vertex represents in context of the problem. So for me, I would much rather just write a complete sentence explaining what I see in the vertex so that I'm very clear about what's going on. So at time 4 seconds. So at 4 seconds, the pilot reaches a maximum altitude of 9,256 feet. So what they're really asking for is the altitude of the pilot. But since we have the 4 there, it's great to put all that in context and say that happens at 4 seconds. Now, the next part, we have several points already, but to get the final credit, it says after the pilot was ejected, what is the maximum number of feet she was above the aircraft's cruising altitude? Justify your answer. So we know that cruising altitude is 9,000 feet. So when she was ejected, she got sent above cruising altitude. So she went up to 9,256 feet. If we subtract the 9,000, the highest point, she was 256 feet above cruising altitude. And that is full credit for question number 14.